Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
So one thing which I would say was I was pretty much relaxed during my last month because I was confident about my preparation. And the one thing which I did in these last 30 days was I only focused a lot on my mock test. My first job was with Bharat Aluminium Company Limited, where I was in the smelting operations department, and I was a team leader, and I was basically leading a team of 10 process technicians. After that, I shifted to ZS Associates, where I was working as a business operations associate. I was also preparing for CAT alongside my job. And post that, I joined IIM Shillong, and right now I did my first year internship with Pidilite Industries, where I was more of a sales and marketing strategy intern. In CAT 2018, I scored an overall percentile of 99.35. And my sectional percentile was VARC I had 92.5, DILR 96, and Quants was 99.86. I started seeing MBA as an option from my final year at college. So I was like more inclined towards understanding overall business processes rather than getting too deep into technical details. So I had an interest towards marketing, strategy, and operations. And as I mentioned, my first job itself was leading a team on the shop floor, where I was working with these blue collared workers. So it really helped me empathize with them, helped me strategize, understand their pain points, drive overall results. But I was working more in silos. So to get a holistic experience, I then shifted to ZS and prepared for CAT while juggling with work. So with all due respect to everyone, like I've heard a lot of people talk that they're not able to juggle their CAT preparation along with their work ex. It gets too hectic, especially mostly those who are working in IT jobs. So I would say like my job itself was very hectic, where I was working for around 11 to 12 hours. So and also my office was pretty far away from my home. So like lost almost 2 hours in traveling up and down, and I returned home pretty late at night. So my strategy was mainly like I have been a morning person always. So I used to leave for office by around 9:30. But I used to wake up pretty early and utilize the 2.5 hours in the morning, which is like the most active part for me. I am during the day, and after that, I never compromise on my sleep as well. So as soon as I came back, I would ensure that I sleep for at least 6 to 7 hours, because again, as they say, sleep is very important, and compromising on sleep it affects your performance. So my strategy was more about I used to give 2 hours to 2 to 3 hours consistently every day. So what I believe in is consistency, rather than preparing continuously for 6 7 hours during last minute. uh, I believe more towards spreading out your work evenly and being consistent every day. Even though you might want to take a break in the middle, 1 day break is fine, but the rest 6 days of the week you should definitely put in incremental effort. Generally, people tend to get a little more tensed. So one thing which I would say was I was pretty much relaxed during my last month because I was confident about my preparation. And the one thing which I did in these last 30 days was I only focused a lot on my mock test. So I almost gave, like in the last 30 days, so I was almost giving 3 mocks per week. And not only just giving mocks, but the whole, the analysis part post the mock. I think that is more important than the mock itself. Like the 3 hours which you give during mocks is definitely important, but the analysis which is done after that, which I would generally spend around 5 to 6 hours, that was much more important and more value adding for me. So to the people who are in the last 30 days, this is like the final lap. So I would say is to focus. The time for getting learning new concepts is now over. Brushing up with your previous concepts, the concepts which are already learned and confident in, that is good enough. But now is the time for application. So the concepts you have learned, you are doing questions, you're performing well. But now applying those concepts in a pressure situation is very key, which is what mocks are all about. So I would say giving mocks 3 to 4 per week and analyzing them thoroughly. That is the key for me. And in the last 1 week, I would say instead of giving a new mock, you can just review all your other mocks which you have given before. Review all of them. Try to see the types of questions, the different trends in quants, or the different type of questions in VARC and DILR, and don't attempt to do anything new. Just go through those concepts. Maybe some concepts you might have found a little hard, a little difficult to follow. Check if you're able to follow those concepts still. Starting with VARC, one thing which I found during my preparation, like this in the past year as well, was that I think a lot of people will relate with me that you, out of 4 options, you generally tend to eliminate 2, but there is always a lingering doubt between the remaining 2, and that is where most of the people get stuck. So one of the things which one of the professors in my coaching institute used to say was that once you crack this code as to being able to identify the correct answer between the 2 you are most confused in, once you crack that, I think that means that you have understood the passage very well. Otherwise, it means that you are not completely understood the passage. So I used to personally struggle a lot in this. Like, I used to perform pretty badly initially, and my scores used to fluctuate. Like sometimes I used to get a 50 or a 60 plus, and then suddenly I used to get a 30. So that was a little confusing. So what I used to do was, this was a different type of strategy which I did for VRC, where even though wherever I got the right answer, maybe in any mock, but I would go over and try to negate the 3 answers, the 3 things which were not the answer. So focusing more on what was wrong and why it was wrong, than focusing on this question of mine is right, okay, so I don't need to focus on it. So that was not what I did. I was focusing on all 34 questions, as to even the ones which I got correct, as to why have the other 3 been wrong. If I'm able to have a good reasoning that why these 3 options are wrong, that means my understanding of the passage was correct, and that's how I was able to approach to the right answer without any, you can say, guesswork or fluke. Being able to identify the correct sets which you'll be able to solve within 60 minutes rather than sticking on one set and getting emotional about it. That is again something I'm talking from personal experience, that I used to tend to get emotional and stay on a particular set because I have to solve this. But being able to let go of a very tough set and moving to a simpler one. So that's how CAT is designed, where 3rd set will be a very tough one, 4th set will be a very tough one, and the last 8 set will be so easy that most of the aspirants miss out on that set. So you have to, I think, picking and choosing is another very important strategy in DILR. Maybe first 5 to 6 minutes you have a look at all the sets, and by doing a cursory reading you can quickly get to know that this is something which I'll be able to solve. Okay, this is something which looks a little tough, so I'll leave it towards the end. So that was how I used to do it. Maybe rank the sets. I'll attempt this first, attempt this one next, and so on. And then I would work on it. So I would try to at least try to solve at least 5 sets, max maybe 6 if the paper was a little easier. But those 2 sets are generally the tougher ones I used to leave. So 5 to 6 sets plus at least an 80 to 85% accuracy would be really good enough in DILR, because generally DILR cutoffs are low. So again, there I would say practice a lot of sets. And then when it comes to quants, I was slightly stronger in quants, having an engineering background. So I found it the most comfortable set out of all. Again, there quants, my strategy was, I used to try to divide it into easy, medium, and really tough, like ABC kind of division. So I used to, again, quickly, I never missed any question. Like I always made it a point that I have to see all 34 questions. There should never be a question which I didn't read at all and it turned out to be easy. So that really is very disappointing, and you feel it's a big regret if that happens. So again, I went through all the sets, went through all the questions, and again divided into easy, medium, tough. The easier ones I used to quickly solve, move on to the ones which were doable but would take a little bit of time. And then the third one would be the tough ones would be generally the topics which I'm not really very confident of, or the question is very lengthy and twisted, and I'm not able to solve it at that point of time. So I used to leave it. And so I used to score well in my mock, like in my mock tests in quants. Towards the end, what I did was all the mocks which I gave, the questions or concepts which I was unable to solve or which I got wrong, I made a question like a list, and I used to try to solve them again. So that's how I was able to do well in quants. So one thing I would say is, like, after mocks, I used to take a, once I'm done with my mock, I used to take maybe an hour's break, and then, start analyzing after an hour or two, or maybe from the next day. So as I said, like, it was 3 hours mock, but my analysis was more about like 4 to 5 hours, because I always tried to go get deep into, why was I not able to answer this question. Like, if I'm good at quants and I'm good at, say, probability, and there was a question which came from probability section, and I got it wrong. So why did I get it wrong? Was it a silly mistake? Was it that I don't understand the concept at all? Or like, was it because of exam pressure? So I tried to bucket it into these different, buckets, and try to understand why did I get it wrong. And if I got it wrong due to a silly mistake, then again, it was, a concentration lapse or an exam pressure. So I tried to, overcome it the next time. And again, like, suppose I get a score of X, I always, one thing I would tell everyone is to, keep yourself as the yardstick and compare your performances to yourself. There are going to be questions where even if you try sitting, like if I try on a DILR set now, even by setting time, I'll take 20 minutes for it and I'll get the answer. But is it worth it? It's not worth it. If I'm giving 20 minutes for one set, it means that set should be skipped in the exam. So being able to identify such sets and, let go of the sets which you're not going to be able to solve. And even if you've got a final answer, you're not going to sit during the CAT exam and solve that. So these are, I think, small things which really matter towards the end, I would say. Like, generally the result of mocks, the mock results, people like take it very, very seriously, take it to heart and take it to face value. So when you're performing well, obviously it's good. It's a boost that, you're performing well and you feel that I'm doing good at mocks. So I'm definitely, I'll be able to scale this to my CAT as well. But to the ones who are not really performing well, I would say don't feel discouraged, because from personal experience, before my CAT 2017, the last 3 mock tests which I gave, I think I didn't score more than an 80 or 85 percentile. And I could have very easily felt disheartened and discouraged, and felt that if I'm not scoring in mocks, so I'll not be able to perform in CAT. But I went very relaxed to the examination, and just kind of tried to brush it as a one-off, and maybe something might have gone wrong, but CAT will be better. So going with that mindset, I was able to score 98.3. So to those people who give mocks during the last month and still are not able to perform according to their expectation, I would say just don't feel discouraged. Just be relaxed. Going with a relaxed mindset is very, very important. At least it's a thing which works for me, because if I put unnecessary pressure onto myself and feel that this is a do or die situation, and if not this, then it's over kind of thing. If I go with that mindset, I will definitely not perform well. So going very relaxed, and again trusting your preparation over the 6 or 4 or 5 months, and convincing yourself that you have given it your all and you have been consistent. So just give it your 100% and be relaxed. That's what I would say as a party.
Hi guys, Inside IIM has come up with an exciting new one-on-one mentorship product where you get to interact with superstar managers from different businesses, different functions. You can ask them everything around your career, your education, your future success. If you are interested, the link is in the description below. Thanks.